Welcome to the WNBF UK podcast.
Hello, Sarah.
Hello, Steff. Hello and welcome to the WNBF UK podcast. Today we are joined by the WNBF UK President, Steff Noble. Hello, Steff. How are you?
Hello, I am really good and I'm super excited because we are relaunching the podcast for 2023. And I just can't wait to be the first proper guest on here to kickstart the year.
Yeah, absolutely. Steff, I was really keen to have you on first. We've got a lot to cover off today. We've got a whole lot of success from 2022 to discuss, a huge year for the WNBF this year to get excited about, and of course, a little bit about what to expect on the WNBF UK podcast, which we are relaunching today. Steff, I would really love to kick off today with a little bit of an introduction to the WNBF UK. I'm sure a lot of our listeners have been with us from the start back in 2021, but for anyone out there who is just discovering us for the first time, would you like to chat to us a bit about the journey the WNBF UK has been on in the last few years?
Yes, of course. So the WNBF UK stands for the World Natural Bodybuilding Federation, and we are the UK affiliate. And for those of you who are avid natural bodybuilding fans, you'll know that the WNBF, the World Natural Bodybuilding Federation, is almost like the pillar stone in our community of where a natural athlete would want to get to. The WNBF is a huge organization and federation that has over 40 affiliates worldwide. We are the biggest natural bodybuilding federation in the world with the most stringent drug testing protocols that there are available to us as natural athletes that follow WADA practices. So if you think of any athlete that you know in world-class sport, we are also using the same drug testing protocols that they use to ensure that our athletes stay natural and clean. And we obviously have a fair stage for all to compete at all different levels. The WNBF UK arose out of a passion of two natural bodybuilders, myself, Andrew Chappelle, who have been competing for many, many years and saw a way to help really firmly raise awareness of natural bodybuilding and put the WNBF UK on the map. Yeah. The WNBF was here, of course. It was already here under another organization. And as paths sort of changed, there was an opportunity really to exponentially grow the WNBF in the UK. And that's what we took hold of, really, to start pushing forward, making sure that what we love and what we're passionate about firmly has a corner in the UK for the best natural talent to showcase what they've got. So that's a short snapshot of why the WNBF UK is here. But it is really the only route now for any athlete in the UK who wants to really, journey their entire natural career to the WNBF Pro Card, the most prestigious pro card in our field. It starts with the UK affiliate. It starts with us. And we're now we're very privileged to say we're the only pathway to that golden ticket, which is where every natural athlete wants to get.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I think as a natural athlete in the UK, like you guys have put on such a brilliant federation, such a brilliant stage for us to move towards. And that WNBF Pro Card is kind of a goal, I think, for a lot of us to sort of strive towards. It's great that we've got the opportunity to move towards that with you guys at the forefront. So I think that's really given us a good picture about kind of the origins of WNBF UK and what has been a bit of a journey over the last 3 years. Obviously we're just finished out last year, 2022. I felt I took part in a lot of the shows last year, but for me, I've kind of watched the journey from 2021 as well, and it really did feel like a massive level up for you guys last year. Do you want to talk to me a little bit about what the Federation achieved last year?
Yeah. So, 2021 we launched with the Supernaturals, the big event for the natural year, and the aim with that was to have one clear show that defines what we're about, that is putting WNBF UK on the map as one of the most incredibly rewarding experiences a natural athlete can have. And we, from various years of competing, we took the areas of other federations that we loved competing with and what made them so great, took those things and poured it into our pot. We then had all these creative ideas ourselves of how to really make this experience for a natural athlete as incredible as we see sometimes in the open side of the sport, where there is more media, there's more attention, there's more focus, there's more stage lights, there's more production, and really kind of maximizing the journey to the stage to be something really, really proud of. And then the other side of the coin was to get rid of some of the areas of competing that we felt didn't help aid the natural athlete's experience to the stage. So 21 was about, here we are, we've arrived, get ready, because natural bodybuilding is extremely, extremely important. And if you're part of this journey with us, we'll nurture that and give you the ride of your lives. That's really where we're at. 22 last year was a phenomenal year for us. We went in with the premise, when we sat down after the Supernaturals 21, we sat down and we brainstormed, what do we want out of 22? We were faced with quite a lot of kind of pressure to have a lot of qualifiers, and we're not there yet. Like any business, like anything you go into, you have to have a strategy and you have to clearly define your milestones, your goals. So the aim for 22 was to give not just the active community with natural bodybuilding a chance to come compete with Supernaturals, it was to start and give what we call the lifeblood of bodybuilding a chance to say, hey, I want to have a go at this and start. And that's where the idea of the first timers and the novice competition came up. So we kind of discussed, let's go 2 for 22, and hit the ground running with a new concept. Natural bodybuilding has never done this before. No other federation has ever done this before, which was the novice and the first timers event of 22 in July. It was really cast the net. Let's see how popular this will be. Let's see, where these athletes will come from, why they're inspired to jump up and do this naturally, and why it's important that they do it naturally. More of a question. It was exciting for us to be able to say, this is an option, and make it the first option, make it the only option for competing. And so that's why that kind of came into our equation, and we discussed it, and we thought, we can't, we've got to walk before we can run. Let's do both. And the success of the events last year was overwhelming, utterly overwhelming. Neither Andrew nor I were prepared for the volume of athletes to come through.
Yeah, I think that first timers event was just another level. Like I remember chatting to you about the competition kind of ahead of time, and you were just blown away by the number of people that were kind of, for the first time or very, very big, close to the start of their competing journey, choosing to come and compete with the WNBF, either as a first show or one of their very first shows. It was amazing, and being part of that experience on the day. It was, how many athletes was it? It was 150.
We ended up with, I think it was around about 156 or 158 athletes at that event. I think what stood out for me at that was really the work that goes in behind to propelling forward our message.
Yeah.
And you see this, you'll hopefully have seen a lot of you guys who are maybe listening to this, or maybe people who are coming into this, go and check out what we do on the Instagram, on the Facebook, with our community groups. We're constantly trying to harness our community of natural bodybuilders, but also, we all want to feel valued and feel part of something, and to be recognized for the hard work that we put in to the eons or the months or the years or whatever that we do this sport. But it means just so much more to people than sometimes just the journey of getting to A to B to getting on stage. It's the people you meet, it's the experience you have on stage, it's the backstage chats, it's the meeting people in the lobbies of hotel rooms, it's the talking about strategies like across different groups and things that we've got online. It's just so much more than just the stage itself, and I think, Sarah, like you were a big part of that, even with me, because we've done a lot of work one-on-one through, you know, part of our journey with posing, and you seeking advice and things like that. I think just those conversations even you and I have had are a part of what makes the WNBF different. It's,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's not just a bodybuilding show.
No.
It's part of a sport that's actually really harnessing something at the center of it, which we all agree with, which is fairness, recognizing when somebody's really worked hard for this. It's not easy to do what we do and give up the amount of time we do to focusing and prioritizing the sport. And then meeting all your peers throughout this and being able to start to find opportunities. And that's what the WNBF UK is all about. It's not just, again, it's not just a stage. We want to give you guys a chance to come into this sport and do other things within it. I mean, right now you're hosting this podcast.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's bigger than that. And it's just, I think the first timers certainly kind of pinpointed to me, like, our message is working, and I want to give more people the opportunities that I didn't have at the start of my natural bodybuilding career. And I really want to have things that I, you know, when I was competing back, and hopefully again soon, but certainly up until that 2019 point, there's huge highlights for me, but there's also like a lot of things that had I had a bit more of a collaborative environment, a community-led environment, I think I would have got a lot more out of it than just maybe the trophy. And that's why I'm trying to provide other things than just the experience itself. So yeah, hopefully that gives a bit of background to why I was like blown away by the first timers and the standard. Let's talk about the standard.
Yeah. Just before we talk about the standard, I want to just say one thing on the community piece, because see, for me, that show day, and the run up to the show day as well, you guys done loads of work to put on posing workshops. There was a lot of support over Instagram with the makeup team, with the tanning team, explanation around the drug policy. It wasn't just a first timer show to try and capture, you know, obviously people who were competing for the first time. It was really a stepping stone for people to start their bodybuilding journey.
Totally,
giving them as you say, the community, the support, the number of people that I met at that posing workshop that then was able to see on the show day, and just building your network within natural bodybuilding, because bodybuilding can feel like a bit of a lonely sport at times, especially in the depth of prep, when you're maybe not being as social with your friends for obvious reasons. But I think that, you guys really did create something there, and it's great to see the success on the back of it, with, you know, the number of people that turned up to the show, but so many people that were just taken on by the understanding what the federation could offer, and what we were able to achieve when we sort of come together as a community and cheer each other on. The environment backstage that day was something else.
It was totally electric.
Each other.
The whole day, start to finish. And, you know, like, we talk to our team members before the events happen, and, you know, me and Andrew have a vision. Obviously we know what we're trying to achieve here, but every single person who's within the internal teams, we talk to them about, you know, the culture is everything. Doesn't really matter what else is going on. If the culture isn't right within the team, that's, you know, emulating out to the guys who've turned up and paid their money to compete, have come on stage and have showcased their hard work and are putting that all out. All of it has got to be about the culture and celebrating that within, whether it's their first time, especially if it's their first time. I mean, the first timers was like huge for us to like make a mark on. This could be one of the biggest memories they have for their life. That time I did that show that first time. So how do we make sure that entire process from start to finish, that entire journey is, and we use the hashtag WNBF UK journey for a reason, because it is literally from the second they walk in the door. How do we give them an experience that they'll never forget, regardless of whether they win or lose, and what else can we give them that they take away? And I think that's the whole premise behind everything we do, culture. And it's just we've got to continue that and never lose sight of that. That's really, really vital for just everything the WNBF UK stands for. And you were part of the world's team we've now taken out 2 teams. This will be the 3rd year. Andrew and I have been very lucky to go to worlds prior to starting this, but I think like we've already got such an amazing group of people that are WNBF UK family, and we're spreading the word about how much more there is to gain from this experience than just the actual premise of the bodybuilding itself as well. So it's just, it's just a big never-ending sort of circle, and we want a lot of people to be part of what we're doing.
Yeah, I think that's really clear from everything that you guys have done, is how inclusive the environment is, and how everyone is welcome to come in and to showcase what they can bring to stage. And touching on the standard at that at the first timers show, then there was actually quite a number of us who took part at first timers who went on to we qualified for supernaturals and the open finals, but we qualified, and then we went on to do really well at supernaturals and be invited to worlds. So that route for first timers, there's nothing holding you back to jump into your first year at competing, be taken on by the community that is the WNBF UK, and be supported through your journey all the way to a world's level. And that just
and we want to see it. We want to see it, and we want to give these opportunities. Like people who came to the first timers, I think a lot of people didn't expect where they came. And we're doing the same this year. Last year we gifted entry to the supernaturals as part of our first timers novice team of people. We invited you guys, and we gave you free entry to the supernatural, so you didn't have to come back and redo any entry. And I think we obviously want to do that again. But the first timers was just mind-blowing. I mean, some of the guys and girls that were coming up on that stage, to think that this was their first time was absolutely outstanding. We had the likes of yourself, and put you there, Sarah, but Leon, who was just remarkable in terms of his conditioning, his size, his level of maturity in his body at that age for that first time. We had some of our men's physique, Charlie Dorbar. We had our bikini athletes as well, our figure athletes, all of these guys and girls. It was quite something. It was quite phenomenal for us to see the standard. And of course, because we've never done this in the natural community before, I think for me, that moment last year was just extremely rewarding, because I never thought I'd have the opportunity to sit on the other side and be able to give the opportunity back. And so it means so much to me. And I'm going to just keep striving to make these shows bigger and better for you guys who want to come and compete, so that you feel like this journey is totally worth it. It's worth every single moment of your time and every penny that you've put into it, because let's be honest, bodybuilding is expensive. It's an expensive sport. And people sacrifice a lot, and they put a lot into it. So we've got to gain something, and there's got to be a journey that is rewarding. So that's totally why we're doing everything we're doing, and we keep focused on the end goal of giving everyone an extraordinarily good experience with a natural bodybuilding federation, with the best. And I'm proud to say that we run the best natural bodybuilding federation in the world, and we are so privileged to have UK affiliate for that.
Absolutely. I think you guys we can all feel, as sort of members of the federation, of people who take part in the shows, the passion that you and Andy have for, and the team behind the scenes as well. You mentioned them earlier. Or how much
you are amazing.
Those guys are amazing. They're amazing. And it's a special day for everybody involved, whether they're standing backstage running us back and forth, or sitting on the judging panel, or whether it's that person's time that they take home, that take home gold or take home the sword. It's a special day for every single person who's involved in WNBF on show day. You can feel it. Everyone's just passionate about natural bodybuilding and wanting to be there. So I guess let's talk about the Supernaturals British finals then. So we had an incredible finals, new pros awarded as well. The standard was just immense. So talk to me about that.
So, I mean, obviously the Supernaturals last year was just a level up. I mean, 2021 was pretty special. But I think if I'm honest, I've probably said this to people on podcasts before, we were brand new, straight into the natural bodybuilding pond. There was a bit of apprehension, like, oh God, mixed it up a little bit. And you had some people sitting on the fence waiting to see, well, what's going to happen. Some people who were maybe thinking, oh, okay, well, I think this is great, but I need to like prepare myself for that for next year. And I think 22 last year opened the gates to everyone and anyone to come and compete, and regardless of where, unless we've got to touch on it, there's always people who have allegiances to this or allegiances to that, one competition here, one competition there. We're not about that. We never have been since the start, and I make it clear on every single podcast that we do. If you're a natural bodybuilder and you love to compete and compete where you want and enjoy it. Absolutely. And WNBF is all about that. Doesn't matter what federations you've competed with before, and it doesn't matter like what your thoughts are about whatever else. It's neither here nor there. Your body does the talking, your enjoyment of the sport does the talking, your camaraderie does the talking, and your passion for keeping the sport clean does the talking. So last year we saw a few guys come across from other federations who are seasoned athletes, very good athletes, and compete. And I was so freaking buzzing with that, because it's just excellent to see people starting to pave the way for themselves, for their own journey, and do the things that they want to do and enjoy it. So we had a really wonderful mix of seasoned athletes, new athletes, athletes who've been competing for years and have come back. I was sitting on a judging panel next to Steve Howarth. Steve Howarth judged my first show in 2012. Yeah. And he's now a judge sitting next to me on our panel, who's been competing for, best part of 30 years. Yeah. And then we've got guys on stage in the masters and 40s and 50s and 60s class who've been doing this for decades. Yeah. And then you've got these new, fresh, young guys who've come from the first timers who've never done this before and are challenging some of your seasoned, crazy athletes. So for me, 22 really set the bar for WNBF UK and opened the doors for athletes from all over the place who've maybe been thinking about it, but have decided, let's go, because it looks like what I want everyone to hear when I'm speaking as well. And then I ramble, so please rein me in. But if you're going to walk the walk and you're going to talk the talk, back it up with everything you do. And I think that's my premise in absolutely everything. So when I'm talking about the events and what we put into them, I'm not speaking about it because I want people to come and do the events. I'm speaking about it because I'm so freaking grateful to be able to literally be in this seat and be able to provide you guys exactly what I'm talking about, and have the resource and the people behind me and the support to be able to do so. And I know Andrew feels the same. So, it's the Supernaturals 22 set the bar for natural bodybuilding in the UK. We also had international athletes come across. There's a couple of changes we're making this year, which are in respect to some of our pro card offerings and things like that. We are going to be focusing more on our UK athletes this year. Very important, because we need to recognise our home people. We need to recognise our guys who are working hard over here. So for us, we had an amalgamation, a huge mixed pot of incredible athletes from all over the world, new to seasoned, a wonderfully strong judging panel that had been trained, and we came out with a phenomenal team to take to the Worlds, as well as incredible athletes to say, well done, come back, because we want to see you challenge again.
Yeah, I mean, a few things that you said, they're like huge turnout, like a huge number of athletes. You said that, like literally again, it was even a bigger show than the first timers, and I think that we both were like, wow, at first timers there were 155 athletes, but was it 170 or 180?
We had 100, we had 108, just over 180 athletes, with a few different people that dropped out in various drug testing scenarios as well. We pulled it down to probably, I think it was around about 178, 176. We were like not, again, we weren't expecting the turnout, so much so that this year we have been considering capping numbers, purely because this all comes back to just health and safety, the venues, and you know, from being on the other side of this now, the costs that are involved in running these events are just astronomical. That, you know, to make sure that it runs smoothly, to make sure you have the right people, they're big events to run, and we want to make sure that it's quality, you know, not quantity.
Yeah.
So we do really want to make sure that
we keep kind of focused on the numbers this year, but still in saying it, you know, we pulled them off. We had a great successful amount of athletes obviously in the event, but we have considered possibly capping the numbers this year, just purely from we want quantity, we want it all to go really run really smoothly, without it being too big. However, that is to, you know, we say we want to get slightly larger venues eventually, but we have to do things like in stages. Obviously the cost of running these kinds of events, guys, you'd probably not want to be me, but
I don't even want to imagine.
But no, you know,
I think it's like, to be in the position that you guys are in year 3, we're talking about, you know, almost 200 athletes on stage at a Supernaturals final. Like, that is an incredible place to be considering, how do we actually make this work? We have more people who are ready to showcase their natural talent on stage in the UK than we maybe have capacity to support right now. That's in a brilliant place to be in, and just shows you the how great the sport is, how big the sport is actually. You know, we're quite a niche little area, but how many people are ready to compete in 1 year and take it to a finals level.
Yeah, I mean, you've hit the nail on the head, Sarah. Like, you know, we made history last year for natural bodybuilding, period, across the UK. We had 2 incredibly full events with high quality athletes, all promoting natural bodybuilding.
Yeah.
For us to get to that point by year 2 was just, we did not expect that. So from where we are now, you know, we're never going to be that federation that's like, okay, like, you know, we have to max that. Every year bodybuilding is going to be an ebb and flow. Some years are going to be really, really busy and some years aren't. And that's the nature of things. People competing, we don't all compete at the same time. We don't all compete year round all year, every year. Some people do, but most of us don't. And so, you know, we've got to where we are ready for the differences in years and seasons, but what we are really, really happy about is to be able to say we did make history last year. We are going to keep pushing for incredible experiences. We'll keep changing things to make these even better. And we will keep managing our event spaces to be as slick and efficient as possible for the majority of people coming in. You know, you can't, what's the word? You can't please absolutely everybody, but what you can try and do is get the majority of things right. And then if somebody wants to give some feedback on how to better things, then that's what you do. You better things. But touch wood, we've had very positive experiences and very positive feedback from last year. The events spoke for themselves. You know, we've put a lot of time, money, and effort into certain areas of these, even for people who couldn't turn up. And I'm going to say this on the podcast, but book your spectators tickets early. Don't leave it. We were sold out weeks before. And that will happen again. And we obviously put the money into the live streams, etc., which we will do. But, you know, all of these things these are busy shows, and we may cap the numbers even of athletes. So don't, if you're thinking like, I want to have a go, I want to do a natural bodybuilding show, and you want to compete with us, get your entries in and focus on, you know, not worrying about that, because the last thing you want to do is do that a week out of a contest where you can't anyway. But, you know, closing dates are always 4 weeks before for us. You know, you want to get that in and focus on then your prep being fun and enjoyable, and you know that you're going to show up and have the best time.
Yeah, secure your spot. No,
Secure
and
your spot.
I think for you guys, it's always been really obvious to me how much you value athlete experience, and continually looking to provide this incredible opportunity and experience for people who choose to come and compete with the WNBF. So, you know, both times I competed with you guys last year, you came out to me along with everyone else and asked for feedback, what went well, what could we do better. And I think that it's fair to say that, you know, the days, because the shows were so full of amazing people, the days were long days. But I think that for my feedback to you on that was, actually, I wouldn't have had it any other way than to be a long day, because everyone got their time on stage. And that to me was more, you know, you guys didn't rush through anything, although there was 200, you know, almost 200 athletes there on Supernatural's finals day. It was all about, you know, making sure that everyone had their opportunity to shine and their chance to do what they wanted to do on stage, and to take up space, which is, you know, you spend a lot of time getting yourself ready for the show and getting yourself to stage condition, and it's a lot. It's a lot of sacrifice, and you guys make sure that everyone has their opportunity to do their thing on stage.
And we won't sacrifice that, because, you know, the end of the day, like you've said what I would say. You've worked hard. We want to give you the time, but it's the judging. We want the judging to be right. We don't want to rush that process. That is hugely vital. That's the whole point of competition. And if our judges are rushing and they're not getting to see everybody properly and give every individual body a really good, proper comparison and look, then we're not doing our job properly. And that is the whole essence of competition, is, you know, efficient, well-trained judges that can make good decisions that are going to be helping the sport develop properly, because every decision you make there in the judging panel is going to shape the class, the look, what we're trying to achieve overall long term. So we can't sacrifice the time. But also, like, you know, the reason we kind of do split show, which you've touched on, which is, yes, it does make the day a bit longer, is to allow you guys, you've got an interval, you get to meet people, you get to talk, you get to share way more time with your fellow athletes, with the judges, with the you know, the WNBF UK team, the people around. When you have a straight run through show, you literally turn up, do your thing and go. And it's very rare that you actually get to spend quality time with essentially the people that do exactly what you do for the whole year. So, you know, a big part of it for us is to promote to you guys, don't just go in and see this as just me, and done. You know, open your eyes, take in the experience. I tell my athletes as a coach, without WNBF hat on here, you know, eyes wide open. You go in, you take the positive experiences, you take the negative experiences, you go away, you reflect, and you'll have learned a lot of things. But you have to sort of look at all of those different paths. But yeah, so the whole point of it is to really have a day, not just, you know, a one and done. We don't want that. And we don't want quick on and off, because you see a lot of federations, and there's no disrespect to any other federations, but, you know, their classes come on and go off so fast. And you just kind of, even from a federation head point of view, I'm not being able to have the time to assess that. So therefore, you know, in my federation, in my corner of the world over here, we need to make sure that we're giving enough time to assess the criteria effectively.
I think parity and fairness it's obvious to me, and I hope it was obvious to everyone else that took part last year, just how important that is, and why we ended up spending so much time on stage, and why the day, you know, was as full for everyone as it was, because we did get our chance to be judged fairly. And I think that the standard of the judging was clear to see. I think that, you know, even the feedback metrics that we have after show, you know, you guys are really happy for us to reach out to, obviously, judges directly and ask for sort of individual feedback, but also we're provided with our scorecards, which is incredible. And it really is just opening up the fairness, and you're able to see clearly that there's like a level of professionalism and fairness in the judging that and you know, putting your hands up when you make a mistake as well. Because every federation, I don't care what federation it is, every federation may make a small error. It's human error. You're going at, you know, you're doing this process very quickly, and if a mistake has been made, then the mistake is corrected, and the appropriate, you know, discussion or talk with an athlete is had if it happens. But the scorecards are huge because they help you really understand where you came in a lineup. And the feedback is extremely important. We send every single athlete feedback, every athlete after the show, to help then go back with your coach or yourself to analyze your performance and then come back and hopefully improve and join us again to have another shot. I think essentially, again, it's like looking at the whole journey and every element of this. The judging is a process, and we have to be able to provide you something to be able to go away from this and actually have something to work on. Otherwise, you know, I've been in a situation, I know a lot of other competitors may have had this throughout their career before, where I've gone and asked for feedback and I've not been given any, or I've not had the opportunity to have more than just maybe a one word or the worst, just get leaner. The generic, like more size,
get leaner. Bigger or get leaner. Which one? You know, doesn't help me. Where do I need to improve? What was good about my overall package? What wasn't? Give me something more substantial that I can work with. And then, do you know what? I'll go like fair dues. Like, this is good. This is good. I can take that away. So those kind of things are super, super important. And so that's definitely, you know, when we're talking about the process of judging, the final point of that is feedback and giving the athlete then a sense of, okay, I came in, I was judged fairly, I understand where I came, here's the scorecard, now here's my feedback. That process is then able for them to go on and get better.
Amazing. No, it's clear to see that you know why this is such a successful part for you guys and what you do so right, because it gives you so much to reflect on as an athlete and to go away and talk to your coach about. You can get, you know, Fivos's pictures and look at the card and figure out where, you know, like, okay, this is number one, I was number two, or whatever, and you can figure out exactly where you were, what's different, and you can see that reflected in the scorecard and sort of from the feedback that you've maybe got from other people directly, but also you can see it for yourself. And
I mean, there's nobody better in the business to be able to capture the shots quite like Fiv. I mean, you're not hiding in Fivos's photos.
No,
they are crystal clear. You know, he just is able to capture you in the lineup correctly to be able to actually see your physique, the lighting, the you know, his exposures, his ability to use a camera in an actual competition setting is probably the best I've ever seen. It is the best.
Wizard. I don't know how he manages it.
And he does it across, you know, nearly 200 athletes like that. But he is able to capture the lineups so well for you to get that data. Then he's also then captures the emotive side of your performance in the individual stuff, in the individual shots. And I think that's what's so good. I mean, when we went into the WNBF UK, there was no question. It was like, we need Fiv. Best. And have I frozen?
No.
I'm back. Okay, good. But he is, and he, again, every person we have involved in this federation is in it for the right reasons and has passion for the sport. And Fivos is again a cornerstone of our natural bodybuilding sport. I mean, every single shot I've got of me as an athlete is Fivos's photos. I think bar like one show I did. somewhere else. But, you know, he is brilliant. He's well known, well liked, and his photos speak for themselves. He's brilliant. He'll be back this year, so you need to grab his photo package, definitely.
Yes, invest in that photo package for sure.
Don't delay on that.
No, no, brilliant. And so obviously amazing Supernaturals event.
Mm-hmm.
You guys brought a world's team to LA. So
yes.
Tell us, everyone, about the amazing experience that was LA.
I mean, Los Angeles, I mean, what more can you like say, you know, if you tell a first timer, oh, well, if you start here, perhaps you could get to Los Angeles for the world finals. It's a pretty beautiful golden ticket to go for.
I think you actually said that to me and I was literally like, no way. Yeah, okay, I'm going to try.
Yeah. But the thing is this is not something that is not achievable.
Yeah, totally.
Natural bodybuilding is such a rewarding sport, and there's so many opportunities for you. And it's anyone listening to this who thinks that'll never be me, just put that thought out of your head. Because I thought it back in 2012, Sarah thought it, 2022, others have thought it the last year's gone by, and people who are in my position now being able to give back to the sport all had to start somewhere. Starting in a federation that will really harness your potential and help you drive you forwards is the best thing you can do. And it doesn't matter, don't put any pressure on yourself. Come in and just enjoy it. And if it takes you one way or another and you love it, then there's all these lovely opportunities to get to somewhere like LA that kind of unfold in front of you. We had Las Vegas in 2021 as our first world's team. Yeah. We took 20 athletes out to that. 22, we took a team of 26 or 7 of you out this year, or last year, sorry, to a beautiful theatre in Los Angeles, and we had an absolutely incredible time at the WNBF World Finals, stacked with all the different countries that came from all over the world, different parts of the world, to then compete on the global natural world stage. It was a very, very amazing experience. I had the privilege myself to judge on the world panel. I was judging the pro classes, not the amateur classes, so I didn't judge anyone that I had in my own team, but I was able to actually sit on a world panel and see it unfold in a slightly different way to how I've done before, and that was super exciting for me. The team absolutely smashed it. It
was unreal. Everyone done so well.
I mean, we had pretty much all of our athletes took a placing. We had a couple of pro card winners. And we had world champions, obviously. We had a lot of athletes who managed to have their first ever experience on an international world stage, which some may never ever have. So every single athlete who came out as part of that team had an opportunity and experience that you might never ever be able to get again. And it was just an incredible group of athletes that all supported one another. The team ethic was epic. The way people supported one another was something I was most impressed about. The way people just generally got behind each athlete was amazing. We were all, I'd actually lost my voice that day, if you remember. I couldn't even scream. But everyone was just passionately and professionally behind the whole team, representing the UK, the best in the world at the event. And it was an amazing experience.
It truly was like a team event. Like everyone came out for each other. And I think it was just exactly the result of what was the year that you guys had, and the culture, the community that you had as a foundation for both the shows that had led up to the team that qualified. I think that the reason that people wanted to come was because they had felt that culture and they wanted to be part of that WNBF UK family. And you could feel it, that the team was absolutely passionate about natural bodybuilding.
Because if you remember, we again, just to give your listeners like a sort of a picture in, when we go over, we have the team posing workshop, we have the team talk, where we talk about what it is to be a British team member at WNBF, why we're all here, what we're all doing here, what we're all a part of, and the memories that you'll make, the people that you'll meet, the experience on a global stage that you'll have, and, you know, wearing the team tracksuit, the team tops,
Yeah.
being part of something. And it's like the culmination of the journey you go through. Bodybuilding is such a solo sport. We're all in our dungeon gyms or our gyms or our wherever we are for the, you know, the 12 months of the year or the 10 months of the year, smashing it, quite isolated, as you mentioned earlier, going through all the ups and downs, you know, all the personal stuff that people go through their preps. And then you get to a place like a British Finals or a Worlds, and you're with people who've done all of those same things with you. And it's just, it really is such a cool experience. Not to mention, you're in somewhere like LA,
Yeah,
you know, where you can go to Gold's Gym and Venice Beach and go for crazy buffet breakfasts. Like,
yeah.
oh my gosh, if anyone hasn't seen Jack Thorburn and Jane's Alabaster's overeating a breakfast on the WNBF LA, you need to go check out their YouTubes right now. But, you know, all of these sorts of things are extremely fun, and you'll have memories you'll never forget, and you may never ever will have the opportunity to go to these places ever again.
Never guaranteed again. And I think that, yeah, like you literally make friends for life on that sort of trip. I'd say on the breakfasts, the only moment of disagreement and tension really in that whole group was trying to decide where we're going to go for team breakfast because everyone was so passionate about their pancakes. But we got over it and everyone was happy. But no, it was good. Such an amazing experience, and it's just incredible to know that is offered to people who qualify. And I think that, you know, what you guys do in the giving the opportunity for athletes to come, everyone who's of a standard is welcome to join. Again, offering out that sort of inclusive, everyone's welcome sort of community environment that it's what you guys do so well. It's you know, everyone of a standard is welcome to come if they want to come. It's not sort of a hand-picked selected couple of people. It's about bringing as many people onto that journey and giving as many people that opportunity as possible. And when you look at the standard of the team and how well everyone did in LA, everyone, you know, that everyone deserved to be there.
UK British talent can't be underestimated. We're very good in the UK. If I was to give one piece of advice to listeners wanting to come compete though in UK for UK, it's bring the condition. And I'm talking mainly for the men's classes here, for the bodybuilders. Internationals who come over to the UK to compete have crazy conditioning. And it took me, you know, when I went out to judge the WNBF Germany last year, I was physically blown away.
The standard,
it gave me like a lot of respect for the differences in how we're doing things across. We're all doing things the same in terms of our structures, but the differences in almost like the competitiveness amongst the competitors of what level they want to bring. And I think for me, this year, when we took our team over to the Worlds, I was really quietly confident because I've seen the levels and I know that the UK, we don't rest. Like, we really come in and we give it everything we've got. And I want to see that get better and better and better and better. And so I was really excited about where we were going to come in the Worlds, because I knew we had a few incredibly outstanding players in our team. In fact, all of you, to be honest, were. And we made a really good mark last year, 21, but we made an even more incredible mark this year too. And so from a British level or from a UK national level, where my advice goes to anyone listening is, bodybuilders, you've got to get gnarly. Don't rest on the conditioning. Go full on it. Figure athletes, big delts, big backs, big muscle. I'll never forget the first time I ever went to an international finals in 2015. It was my first amateur worlds, and I sat and watched the pro classes, and they were about double the size of me. And I came back in 2015, and I just thought, right, I'm just going to get absolutely massive, which of course we all have to, but you don't realize it till you get there. Even the bikini athletes. I mean, Sarah, you were up in the bikini division, and you're now shifting, of course, but you know, these girls, they have different, there's such a different vibe and flow from all over the world, and you really are starting to see kind of what's coming through, the dimensions and the proportions and the, you know, it's incredible. And you just have to sort of watch what the internationals are also doing to be as competitive as you can be. And that's what I think makes a very well-rounded international, well, if you want to become an international athlete. And certainly once you get there, you know what you need to do when you come back.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about learning and just absorbing as much as you can, taking as much as you can. But I think again that goes down to how good the judging is, I think, as well. Like we're awarding and rewarding the right things against the criteria, which means that when we do bring a team to the world stage, we are doing very well against the other competitors that have also done well across the world. We're not wildly off the mark. We're exactly judging on the right criteria that's being judged at a world's level.
Yeah, and exactly. And what you guys need to know as well is behind the scenes, you know, us as affiliates, we have a European affiliate meeting with Bob and Tina and the rest of the guys quite often.
Yeah.
They're all talking about through lines, synergies, making sure that we are all following the same criteria, structures, posing, detail, you know, everything, so that when we do go abroad, we are bringing more fairness across the categories, so that there is going to be a coherent criteria, coherent understanding of what we're looking for. And so, you know, we're close with quite a lot of the European affiliates. You guys will probably have seen on our Instagrams, we're doing a lot with them. We judge over in Ireland, we judge over in Germany, we're talking away to the Spanish and the Italians, and we've obviously all cross-met now many times through the judging. And we're starting to build much bigger networks. And what I love about WNBF, and this is something, you know, that we've said on podcasts before, you can go and compete in any one of these international affiliates whenever you want, as long as you have come through and competed with us. Yeah, so you have access to a global system of events. We've got athletes who go over, compete, and then go off on holiday.
Yeah,
we have
I think I'm going to do that next
year. we've got athletes who go do a tour of Europe and do the European shows. Yeah, we have WNBF pros who want to go do the European circuit and then head over to the Worlds. Yeah. So, you know, once you're in the WNBF, the opportunities, not just with us, but with the rest of your global community, are completely endless if you want to travel and do this. And that's what's so exciting about it. It's not just, you know, previously, these opportunities were never really spoken about. And I really don't understand why. Because as an athlete, if you're a natural bodybuilder, you want the chance to compete, especially at pro level, because we have so few shows that we can do in our own home country, then we need to be able to go abroad and showcase the best of the best for Britain as well. So I come back to that saying, like, you know, if you love natural bodybuilding, you want to do the sport, you want to get as much experience as you can, we have all of the opportunity here for you. So it's just about grabbing it.
Yeah, really. Both hands off. It's amazing. It's brilliant. Steff, I'm keen to not take up all of our listeners' time. But we've had such a good chat about last year. I think that we should switch on to thinking about the amazing year 3 that we've got set up for WNBF UK. So tell everyone, what's the plan for this year?
So 2023, we have the First Timers Novice Championships in July, and we have the Supernatural Championships, our Open Championships, in October, which are now both open to sign up for. And we've already got a lot of athletes signed up for both, actually. But of course, our First Timers and Novice is the front runner. So we've got a lot of people coming in for that initially. So this year, we're changing the rules slightly around our pro cards and our invites at the British. And as I touched on earlier, we will be awarding this to British champions. So our British blood, if you like. And we will be also then focusing on taking a team of athletes from the Supernaturals this year out to Seattle. So Seattle is our ticket this year, which I'm super excited about because I've never been to Seattle ever. And I've heard really, really cool things about it. Yes. So we're really looking forward to that. So we're planning obviously the year, the run of events. We have been considering and talking about opening up pro shows at this point. Nothing is set in stone as of yet. So we are just having the conversations and of course making sure that it all works and not again stretching too quickly, making sure that we've got the means in which we can do this. And then shortly we will be having our own homegrown pro shows also.
I was wondering when this might start becoming a thing, because I feel like we could definitely run a men's physique pro.
Yeah, well, certainly the men's physique pro show has been one that we're talking about quite substantially at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, how many now? I think we must have like what, six men's physique pros, more than that.
Yeah, a few more actually, probably because of years prior to that, but certainly 6 I can think of right now off the top of my head, who I know are all gunning for it.
Yeah.
So we've got quite a few of you guys messaging us like, when's it going to be? So we are talking about it, and of course, like all these things, guys, there's a few more like cogs in the machine that we have to kind of kink out to make this a doable thing for everyone. But there's nobody more than us who want to get this going. So, you know, whether it is this season or whether it is next, just watch this space and keep an eye out for announcements because we will be having them.
Amazing. And of course, first timers, Supernaturals, Worlds, that pathway is still there for all athletes this year. You guys are obviously incredibly passionate about drug testing and polygraphing.
Yes.
So last year you managed to drug test all of your winners, wasn't it? And polygraphed all your athletes at Supernaturals.
So at first timers, novice, we drug tested all of the top 5s, all of the winners. In the Supernaturals, we obviously drug tested all of our top 5s, and then we polygraphed 98%. It eventually ended up being of the athletes. So pretty much every single athlete, bar athletes who had been polygraphed at previous events within the 6-week window that's allowed, they were all polygraphed. So this year we will be doing exactly the same thing. It's really important that all of our natural bodybuilders understand what's required of them before they come and do these events. You can find out all about that. We have a very comprehensive, tab on our website about drug testing, what we do, why we do it. Your membership that you pay for covers your drug testing, urine analysis. To give you guys an understanding, I'm sure I've said this before in podcasts as well, per person, it costs us around about £100 per urine analysis to send away and be actually tested by these official WADA, accredited laboratories across. We've got London King's College lab, and we have the Redwood Toxicology lab across in the States that we use for both of our testing. So, we've got 2 of these different types of drug testing protocols for a reason, to ensure that all of you guys know and feel like, everyone's on a safe and fair playing field. Everyone has been tested, and everybody believes and is, coming into natural sport for the right reason and doing it for the passion of keeping the sport clean, which is what we're 100% behind. And not to mention how awesome it is to see how far you can go as a natural athlete and stay fit and healthy, because at the essence of why we do this is born out of the love of training and being fit, healthy individuals. And I'd go as far as saying the majority of people who start natural bodybuilding is because they love health and fitness, and that's what we promote. That's at the heart of everything we do. So drug testing, you can go find out all about it. And of course, if you're not sure of anything, please do ask us. And there is a Facebook community group for WNBF UK athletes, where if they want to ask questions about particular banned substances or they're not sure about anything, they can go on there as well.
Yeah. Fantastic. It's clear that this is something that is so important to you guys, and it's just the foundation of what the WNBF UK is all about. No shortcuts. I'm so glad to hear that you say that this sort of almost 100% is close to 100%. If you can get 100%, fantastic. Polygraphs at the finals,
yes.
And drug testing is, you know, going to be again held to an incredibly high standard.
Yeah, it's at the heart of absolutely everything.
Yeah.
It's the whole reason why we do natural sport and natural bodybuilding, why we run a natural event. You know, it's it wouldn't be anything without the drug testing, and we're very, very lucky to have a sponsor, CMP, who are behind us with our drug testing. They support our drug testing protocols, and they provide sponsorship to allow us to do a big proportion of our drug testing. Honestly, without CMP, we couldn't do it. It's the expense of it is so high, but it's so important and worthwhile. We, you know, without them, we physically couldn't do what the level of testing that we do. Yeah. So yeah, we're super, super grateful to those guys as well.
Yeah, and I think it's testament to say like how many, like the likes of CMP who've been with you from the very beginning. Everyone who's involved in WNBF is there for the right reasons. CMP are a huge advocate for natural bodybuilding. And yeah, people get involved in the WNBF and then they can't not be involved with it anymore, because you guys are completely doing everything for the right reasons and doing this because you love it. And that's what everyone who gets involved with WNBF also seems to hold it as dear to them. So that's great to hear. And are you guys running any posing workshops this year?
Yes, we are. And for anyone listening to this, they may be out before this podcast comes out. However, I have the dates actually up here. We're going to be running a few this year, but the first up is the London Posing Workshop, which will be the 11th and 12th of March. Or it'll be the Sunday, the 12th of March, but we've got some posing coaches coming in to offer one-to-ones the day before. So we'll have the 11th and 12th. Midlands, we've got the posing workshop on the 27th and 28th of May. And then Scotland, we will have the 10th and the 11th of June. So we've got 3 of our first ones up for March, May and June, and then we'll have a few more in between the first timers novice and the supernaturals, which we're just working on dates now. So make sure you get down to one of those, because they're not only hugely fun, the posing experience you get, the insight into what we're looking for is important. And the fact that you get to meet and greet some of our pro champions, our judges, and also your fellow competitors that you're going to be jumping up there with before you even get there. It's great because then you can share a bit of the journey with them too.
Absolutely. All right, brilliant. And then that will bring us on to the final part. Let's talk about the podcast. So we've had a big nice chat about this already, but we're relaunching the podcast.
Yep.
So we've been chatting about it for a few months now. What's relaunching the podcast all about, Steff? Why are we doing it?
So first of all, if you haven't watched some of the other podcasts with the awesome Leon Mitchell, who is our 2021 champion, he is the OG. He's like the guy that started the passing of the sword. He has had some incredible conversations with first timers, with seasoned athletes, with judges. You know, he's had great conversations. Go check them out. They're all on the YouTube. The whole premise of bringing this back 2023, rejuvenation, is giving you guys fresh information. Obviously, last year was huge for us. And with the nature of running these kinds of events, time is maximized on this sort of thing. So we're really focused on now bringing people back into the fold, Sarah, to get the podcast back up and running with athletes, professionals, people who love the sport, officials, judges, federation heads, to come on and speak with Sarah and with other people to really talk about, you know, what's up and coming and what's to look forward to. We're also going to be talking about lots of different series, aren't we, Sarah? So different topics.
Yeah. So I think like for me, when we were chatting about originally relaunching the podcast, WNBF's all about showcasing the best of natural bodybuilding in the UK. So it's about building up and celebrating the voice of the UK natural bodybuilding scene and giving people a bit of giving people a stage to stand on.
I love it.
And a voice to express themselves with. So I think the podcast for me is a huge part of this. So we'll be bringing on a real mix of guests, I think, in the next, up until the end of the year, I've been chatting to people about, so we've got lots of people to come on. So these might be people that are kind of fundamental to the running of the shows. So obviously we spoke to you today, Steff, but we're going to have some judges on, some of our drug testers. We're going to have our makeup team, hopefully, and our tanning team, and the sponsors, CNP as well. But also, as you mentioned, there'll be guys who done incredibly well last year from the first timers and supernaturals, some of the world's team, some pros. We're going to try and let you work your magic, Steff, and see if we can get some cool international guests to come on and speak to us as well. So I think the plan is maybe every couple of weeks from now until the end of the year, Steff.
Every 2 weeks,
every 2 weeks we'll try and release a podcast, which will hopefully be a really valuable resource and a bit of a source of entertainment for our niche little corner of the world, which is UK natural bodybuilding. And you know what, like you get, like all podcasts are great. I love a podcast. I listen to podcasts all the time, and I think, you know, what's nice about this as well is every person who is involved with the WNBF has some information, some education, something to share. I'll learn a lot from these. You guys will. People who are interested in thinking or on the fence or whatever about WNBF UK, you're going to find out whether this is for you or not very quickly by listening to the podcast as well. Some of you who have, you know, want to learn about things that you've maybe never learned about before, you're going to have opportunity to hear from professionals that you maybe never would be able to be in a place to have a one-to-one conversation with them before. So like, get stuck in, listen, soak it all up, be a sponge, learn everything, come and showcase yourself on our stage and have some fun at our events, because they're fun. They're very, very fun. Amazing. Okay. What an amazing first episode, Steff. So before
there we go. I hope I haven't blown away everyone with the forceful passion, because I know a lot of people, you know, like when they get in front of me, sometimes it's just like, whoa, she's so full on. But trust me, like, I love this stuff. This is what we do it for. And I cannot wait to meet a lot of new faces this year and returning faces as well. So let's bring on 2023, Sarah, and
bring it on.
What an awesome host to bring on the podcast.
So before we go Steff, I have one last thing I want to do. I have a quick fire question round I want to throw at you. So I didn't prep you for this at all. I'm going to ask you 10 rapid fire questions and I need you to answer instinctively the first thing that comes into your head. Okay, are you ready?
Right. All right then.
Cream of rice or protein oats?
Protein.
Post-show meal of choice?
Pizza.
Pump or stim pre-workout?
Stim.
High rep range or low rep range?
High.
Steps or Stairmaster?
Stairmaster.
Free weights or machines?
Free weights.
Are shows one from the front or one from the back?
Oh, all round.
One from everywhere. Off season or prep?
Oh, I'm gonna go off season right now because I'm in it.
Yep. Best part of show day?
Oh, that's tough. Okay, best part show day. Being proud of yourself for the challenge.
Okay, last one. What is your favourite thing about being a natural bodybuilder?
Oh, that all my muscles are natty. No, I mean, what's my favorite thing?
Your favorite thing about being a natural bodybuilder.
Okay, well, with jokes aside, because that's my personality. Sticking at it.
Yeah.
And never being swayed when the peer pressure's been there, and knowing that one day I might actually be able to help other people do what I've done, staying healthy, fit, and feeling extremely proud of their journey. So I think that's a lot of things, but it's a big question, that one for me.
That is, I know. And I feel like I tricked you because the first 8 were like definitely rapid fire, and the last 2 I actually wanted a real answer. So
yeah.
Thank you, Steff. No, thank you so much for your time today. And I hope that our listeners enjoyed that as much as I did. So 2023 is going to be the biggest year yet for the WNBF UK and for natural bodybuilding in the UK. So we'll be back in 2 weeks' time with our second amazing guest. We've got Ian Gunster, our 2022 First Timers Medium Men's Physique Champion, talking all things first timers mindset coming up. Awesome. So until then, I've been Sarah, your host. You've been Steff.
I've been Steff and
WNBF UK. And this is the WNBF UK podcast. Thank you.
We're in. Check out CNP, our sponsors, and sign up for our events at WNBFUK.com.